On October 6th, around 3,500 people, mostly young adults, attended the Supernova Music Festival in Re'im Forest, which is around 3 miles from Israel's border with the Gaza Strip. There were 3 stages, a camping zone and a food court set up at the festival, which was billed as a celebration of friends, love, and an infinite freedom. At 6:30 a.m. on October 7, rockets were seen in the sky and warning sirens were sounded. Hamas terrorists using motorcycles, trucks, and powered paragliders stormed the festival grounds, murdering 364 people and taking more than 40 hostages. I'm going down to Re'im to meet Rafaela Trisman, who survived the Nova Festival massacre. Her boyfriend, Hanani Glazer, unfortunately, was tragically murdered. A memorial site has since been set up in that site of the festival. Boards remembering those killed and kidnapped, completed with small gardens and memorials, now fill that place.
My name is Rafaela Traceman. I'm 20 years old, and I've been here at the Nova Festival at the 7th of October. I actually got here the 6th of October at 11 p.m. with my boyfriend, Hanani Glazer, and with a friend, Rafael Zimmerman. And everything here was so beautiful, so amazing. We were in the front of the DJ. We're dancing. I was looking around, everyone was smiling, and people were so filled with joy and happiness and love. And the sun started to rise, so everyone was kind of seeing each other for the first time again, and like the energies were here
Super
up high.
And this was a peace festival, right?
Peace festival, a light festival, and suddenly the music stopped. And then everyone started to scream at the DJ, like, no.
Why do you stop the music,
Stop music right now, why do you do that? Like, arguing with him. And then he took the microphone and said, צבע אדום, חברים, צבע אדום, תלכו מפה. Which means red alert. Yeah.
Go to a shelter.
It was like, red alert, you have to leave. And then we started running, like towards Re'im, because I called my stepfather and asked what to do, and he said, okay, the closest shelters to you are in Re'im, so go there. Started running, we stopped the car. 2 people that were in the party. They just took us to a shelter, which is like a minute from here.
On the road?
Yeah, on the road. And we set the 3 of us inside of the shelter. And then a lot of people came inside, and we became 40 people in a shelter that is smaller than this one, so you can imagine how it worked. We started to hear a police officer, a woman, she was speaking on the radio, and she was like, I am in Re'im and I was shot and they're terrorists and I'm gonna die. And then we heard the terrorists killing her.
You heard the gunshots?
Yeah, and we were like 40 people inside of the shelter, one on top of the other, hearing the police officer getting shot.
Somebody went out or everybody is inside?
No, everyone was inside trying to stay quiet. And then after they killed her, they threw inside the first gas grenade. And then they threw a lot of things afterwards, like normal grenades, trample grenades, gas grenades. Then they started to come inside and just go on the bodies and shoot everyone that was there, and they were just laughing and screaming.
And you saw that? You were inside.
I was under a lot of bodies, just saying to my boyfriend, I want to go home, what am I doing here? What's going on? And he was like, babe, calm down, there are terrorists here. We're under a lot of people, it's gonna be okay. We're in the corner, it's gonna be okay.
Did you hear him being shot when you were?
No, I was on the floor. They also built like a fireplace on the place of the door. There's no door, but we're supposed to be. And they burned a lot of bodies. So all of that smoke was getting inside. And then this woman fell on me, and I couldn't breathe anymore. And I was saying to him and to my friend, like, take her off me or I'm gonna die. And they couldn't, because they were so tight and they weren't breathing themselves, they couldn't. And then he just didn't know how else to help and just said, okay, I have to try to do something. My time has arrived, I have to try to do, and just left. and I couldn't move, so I didn't see him getting shot. And I just stayed there hearing everything, trying to be somewhere else in my mind. And 5 hours later, I saw this man coming inside and outside, and I heard him screaming in Hebrew, "Mi yadayim b'chaim, mi chayadai." Who's still alive? Who's alive? And then I somehow got up, and he told me to come towards him. Before I got to him, I just stopped, like, saw everything that was in front of me, all of those bodies. I started looking at people's phones, and I started seeing like mom, dad, babe, brother, sister, and it was like, they're calling someone that I can't even describe how they look. And I was thinking that to myself, and I was like trying not to step on anyone, and at the same time look for my boyfriend. And it was like, okay, this one, his leg is out, but this is not his tattoo. So this one, he's exploded, but this arm is too big to be his. I don't know why. And then he took me outside, and I saw this big fireplace with burned bodies. The only thing I could get out of my mouth was Hanani died. I started to scream. I said, Hanani died, he died, he died. I saw him, the image just stayed in my head, and I just, no, this can't be. From those 40, only 10 got out alive. I got to the hospital at like 5.
So the rocket started at 6:30 in the morning, a.m., and then it got to the hospital at 5
or 5, something like that.
p.m. at night.
Yeah. And then I stayed there for like a few hours, and I was covered in blood. You would get in the hospital and you would see a movie scene. It's like doctors running, people screaming, people beheaded, people without arms, without legs, exploded, dead, family searching, showing pictures to everyone. Have you seen my kid? Have you seen my kid? And I was just screaming at the doctors and saying, my boyfriend died, Hanani. And my mother she took like a good 3 to 4 hours to get to me. I couldn't do anything. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't care. Then at some point they took me home. I don't hear quite well. And like my eyes, they burned for like 2 to 3 weeks. I couldn't really open them. And I would cough black things. I have no idea what that was. And my hair would smell like dead bodies for like 3 weeks. I couldn't get the smell off my hair. It's like people say that with time, things get easier. For me, it only gets more confusing.
Yeah.
Like, at the same time, I feel like a lot has passed, but everything is kind of a blur. And at the same time, I feel like I'm still in October. It's like I have 2 different things to deal with. The thing that I went through, like...
And the second thing?
And the loss of my boyfriend, which I miss him a lot. And it's kind of... It's weird because it's like my brain is lying to me, like he's going to come back or something. So it's like just weird. Everything is just weird.
I've seen you a lot on TV, coming here and sharing the story. And personally, I think it's very important because Israel is fighting one war, which is with tanks and bullets, and we're winning that war. But there is another war, a war of the media, of the public opinion of the world, and we can see demonstrations going on in the United States, in Canada, and other places that are basically anti-Israel and pro-Hamas demonstrations. That's what it is.
That's the problem, the ignorance, the lack of information, the lack of understanding. Just people say whatever they say just to feel like they're part of something, but they forget that they're talking about human beings. We were here to celebrate. These are young people. What did they do? What did I do? We came here to party. What is more normal than young people coming to a party? We came here disarmed, happy, chill, with our best friends and with the people that we most love. How can you chant for something? How can you support something like that? How can you support people invading a country and decapitating babies and killing people and burning families and coming to a festival and shooting and coming to shelters like I was and laughing and celebrating? That's what I remember about them. Celebration of what they were doing. No one can tell me I'm lying. No one can tell me I'm imagining stuff. I have proofs. I have on my phone. I have pictures. I lived that. So it's like, I feel like it's our job to explain and to tell people because they can't speak for themselves. They can't share their stories. They cannot. They're just pictures now and memories. People around the world, they forgot about 7th of October. already have forgotten. And even if I try to forget, I can't forget.
No, I wanted to say that, first of all, thank you for sharing. And that millions of Christians around the world that watch TBN are praying for the people of Israel, are standing with Israel, and you're willing to come in and speak and doing this a lot of times. It's really important. Like, we need to
That's the only thing that we can do.
share the truth,
Yeah.
so that people will know what happened and understand why Israel is fighting this terrorist organization. Thanks so much. The enduring impact of October 7th will remain with us indefinitely. Beyond the tragic loss of those who were killed and taken hostage, and the immeasurable grief their families continue to endure, there are those who witnessed the horrific atrocities. They witnessed an evil they never imagined possible unfold before their eyes. Their lives will never be the same. Please pray for all those affected by that tragic day. May they find peace in their hearts. Please pray for the return of the Israeli hostages, that our soldiers will be safe. And most importantly, let's unite in prayer for the peace of Jerusalem.
Today was an exciting and almost joyful day for the people of Israel after the IDF announced that it had rescued 4 hostages: Noah Argamani, 25, Almog Meir John, 21, Andrei Koslov, 27, and Shlomo Ziv, 40. The hostages were rescued in a joint operation carried out by the IDF's Yamam unit, the Shin Bet, and the Israel police in the Gaza city of Nuseirat. All 4 Israelis had been kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival on October 7th. On their rescue after 246 painful days, they were transferred to Sheba Medical Center for evaluation. IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari had this to say.
This morning, at 11 a.m., Israeli Special Forces conducted a complex hostage rescue mission and successfully rescued 4 of our hostages from Hamas captivity in Gaza: Noah Argamani, Almog Meir Jan, Shlomi Ziv, and Andrei Koslov. They are back home in Israel. They are alive. They are well. They will undergo medical examination and will soon be reunited with their families in the hospital. Noah, Almog, Andrei, and Shlomi were rescued after 246 days in Hamas captivity after they were brutally kidnapped from the Nova Musical Festival on the 7th of October. This was a high-risk complex mission based on precise intelligence conducted in daylight in 2 separate buildings deep inside Gaza. while under fire inside the buildings, under fire on the way out from Gaza, our forces rescued our hostages. We will not lose sight that 120 hostages are still being held by Hamas in Gaza, men, women, children. When we say that we will do everything to bring our hostages back home, we mean it. We will not stop fighting for their freedom. Any other decent country in the world will do the same.
רבותיי, רגע משמח לעם ישראל. מילה טובה לחבר'ה מהימ"מ ומהשירות.
Overnight, the IDF conducted a precise intelligence-based strike, targeted dozens of Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists hiding inside a UN school in Gaza. Some of these terrorists participated in the Hamas massacre of Oct.7. I will soon reveal the identities of some of the terrorists we eliminated. The terrorists were operating from this UN school. They were planning and conducting attacks from inside classrooms of this UNRWA school. Our precise strike was based on concrete intelligence from multiple sources. The terrorists inside this school were planning more attacks against Israelis, some of them imminent. We stopped a ticking time bomb. This is what it was. Our intelligence indicated that the terrorists were operating from inside these three classrooms. We delayed our strike twice because we identified civilians in the area. We had aerial surveillance that had been monitoring the Hamas compound for a few days. We conducted the strike once our intelligence and surveillance indicated that there were no women or children inside the Hamas compound, inside those classrooms. Despite the complex operational conditions, our Air Force used precise munitions to target the three specific classrooms that the terrorists were hiding inside. Here are some of the terrorists who were hiding inside the UN school in Nuseirat, who we eliminated before they could carry out more attacks against Israelis. Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists, some from the Nukhba force. Terrorists with blood on their hands. These are only a few of the terrorists we eliminated. There are more. Some of them took part in the brutal massacre of Oct.7. We are working to verify the information before we will share it. This is the 5th time we have had to target Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists operating from inside UNRWA facilities. I want to repeat it. The 5th time we are operating against Hamas that is using UNRWA facilities. In the last months alone, Hamas wages war from schools and hospitals. Hamas hopes the international law and public sympathy will provide a shield for their military activities, which is why they systematically operate from schools, youth facilities, hospitals, and mosques. Sadly, we saw some media outlets fall for Hamas's tactics yet again, before checking the facts. While Hamas abuses international law, the IDF will continue to operate according to international law. The systematic abuse of UN facilities is a war crime, and it must be stopped by the world. We will continue to do everything in our power to bring our hostages back home and defeat Hamas. As we fulfill this mission, we will continue exposing the true face of Hamas to the world.
Wow, спасибо вам. Спасибо вам. Что происходит? Что?
ביקשתי לעשות כל מה שיכול כדי להחזיר את נועה, כדי שמפה האמא שלה תפגוש אותה, והנה לי, זו העוצמה של ראש הממשלה. אני בהזדמנות זאת רוצה להודות לצבא האיכותי, האנושי.
באמת, אני בטוחה במיליון אחוז, לא באחוז אחד, מיליון אחוז.
כולם שיחזרו, אמן, אמן, כול בשלום, אמן. כולם שיחזרו, אמן, אמן, כול בשלום, אמן. בשלום, אמן.